Hey everybody, this is another video series and I have my daughter here, and this is directed towards parents and children, particularly parents, but we're going to start off with the children because kids, teenagers, preteens, toddlers, not so much of babies, but they need to be taught these things because it's like I said in my previous videos, Jesus is coming back, his return is near, a lot of people recognizing it, and now children need to recognize it as well. And this right here this is a very good example of this video, and I had to bring her in this. Starting with the children, this video will contain a lot of information for your child because they need to know Christ as well as we do. And I mean really know. Children, parents is to be respected because God have given you the first commandment of obeying your parents, your mom and your dad. Doesn't matter which parent it is, what they did, you still need to respect them because the Lord commanded you to do so. In Ephesians 6, chapter 6, 1 through 4, my daughter is going to read it, and I'm going to explain it right after she read it.
Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promises, that it may be well with thee and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them in the nature and the admonition of the Lord.
Now, that right there, it lets you know that you have to obey. Children, obey your parents with an S. In the Lord. In most cases, out of the Lord. It doesn't matter. They're still your parents. But right here in this particular verse, it says, in the Lord. For this is right. Honor thy mother and father. We're talking about both parents again. He said it twice in 1, and now he said it in verse 2, which is the first commandment with promise. Okay? That it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live a long life on earth. You've got to get that. We are living in difficult times right now. Your parents, they may be going through this, they may be going through that. They working hard. They trying to keep food on the table, a roof over your head. You cannot just go around giving them hard time because who else is going to provide and take care of you? Of course, God is the provider first, and then it's your parents. He gave you to your parents. So therefore, you have to step up as the young man and the young lady and take responsibility for your action, because we all want to give accountable for the good and the bad we have done in our lives, and to start with obeying your parents with okay? Now, if you are not ready, you might want to get ready because Christ is going to be returning. You want to go home with Christ when he come back, because he's coming back for his children. Become a child of God and you will not lose. The Lord Jesus Christ is calling for all mankind to step up and to fight the Christian faith and fight for the faith. That way you will not be deceived when the Antichrist come on this earth. And down here in verse 5,
servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart.
There you go. So, what that verse is saying there, it's saying servants. You have to be a servant of the Lord. Be obedient to them that are over you. I don't care if you work it, you have a boss, that's his company. Be obedient to it, because you're not being obedient in a way where it's disrespectful because you think he's disrespectful. You being obedient to Christ because you are his servant. Now, it says here, to them that's your master. A lot of people might say, he's my master. Obviously, you work for him. That's your master. The kids, parents are your master. They are over you. But you're doing it unto Christ. Period. Now, people, Jesus is on his way back. As I said before, children, you got to get it together, because God will not be pleased with disrespect. God will not be pleased with disobedience. You have to obey them that are over you, no matter who they are. Adults are his adults, and that's just that. Parents, you have to understand, right here it says, if ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, not here, above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. You have to seek those things that you are looking for, because you only find whatever you're looking for, you only find it in God, and he's going to give you the answers. Set your affections, set your affections on the things above, not on the things on earth, because everything on earth here is temporary. I was just explaining to my daughter earlier this evening on things that are tempting in the world. Things that's going to tempt you in this world, and they are called temptations. But listen to the word temptations, and if you take temptation off and you just listen to the word tempt, it's things that are tempting you, but at the same time, those things that tempt you, they are temporary. If you give those things that are bothering you and tempting you to Christ, because he's the only one that could turn those things around. If you call on the name of Jesus, you will be saved. You have to call on his name. You have to say, God, look, I'm going through this today. My mom is not acting right. My dad is not acting right. My dad is not here. My mom is not here. What should I do? Can you help me? You have to go to God about everything, but you can't sit around and mope and curse your parents out and bad mouth them and stuff like that, because your days are going to be shortened if you do that. The Bible simply says, and it tells you right here, to honor thy mother and father, which is the first commandment with promise. In the third verse, it gives you, and I'm backing up so you can really get this, it lets you know in the third verse that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. If you do just what Christ is saying, you will not lose. You will live a long time. All the hanging out in the streets, you got to give that stuff up. Talking to the teenagers, talking to the preteens that's following behind the sisters and brothers. You got, if you're an older sister, if you're an older brother, you have to be an example and not do those things that they shouldn't be learning in the first place as they grow up, because God is watching everything. So be respectful to your parents, and you will be rewarded in heaven when you appear in glory with him. But for you have to be baptized in the name of Jesus and become a child of the Most High. No matter what age you are, God will accept you at that age, because it's a good age to receive Christ right now. It's time to wake up now children. It's time to wake up now, teenagers. It's time to wake up now, preteens. It's time to wake up now. Christ is coming back, and his return is near. No matter what. Whatever you're thinking right now, get it out your mind. Grab the Bible. Get understanding. Pray. And you will receive everything you need to know about Christ from God. Because Jesus gave us, the Bible is laid out for us just like that. Go to church. Get your parents' hand. Grab them. Let them know, look, I need to go to church. And parents, oh, look, I got something for you. On to you now. You have to get your children in church. Because if you don't get them in church, they will be churched out here in the streets. And that's not church. That is the devil's world, and the devil is waiting for your children, because the time is now. Christ is coming back, and he's not going to be waiting around for nobody. Because you have to realize, in Genesis 1:28, it says, after creating Adam and Eve, God commanded that they be fruitful or have children. We are the heirs of Adam and Eve. If you don't know that, go back in Genesis and read the whole entire thing. We are heirs of Adam and Eve. We are children of Adam and Eve. It goes way back. We think we originated from our parents. No, we did not. We originated from God first, because we came in the thought of God, and then Adam and Eve had children, and so forth, and they had children, leading all the way up to the day, starting from them. And then our parents had children, and so came we. Or the original designer, including families with children, kids were an afterthought. We were an afterthought. We was an afterthought in God's mind when he told Adam and Eve, like, go be fruitful and multiply or have children. That's what that specifically means. Everything about creation was pronounced good. We was good. We was made good. We was made in the image of God, including his design for children. Children, he put your parents together for you to be born, and you have to know that. And you go back in Genesis 1:1 on how God created the world, and you'll get the understanding on how you came about. God created the world in 6 days, and everything in it, and every living thing, and everything that creepeth upon the face of the earth, even the water, the seas. Read Genesis 1:1 and so forth. Children is a gift from God to families. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring and reward from him. Psalms 127:3, it says the word heritage comes from the root meaning to get or inhabit. It is an honor and responsibility to entrust with a little one from God. We stand beside him to shepherd their growth, and development, for us to provide for their needs while they are in our care. So therefore, we have to take care of our kids. We have to provide for them. We have to teach them. More so, we teach them about God. And if we teach them about God, then they won't go out here and get the teaching in the wrong ways. Parents, we got to teach our children the right things, because if they go out in the streets, they can be taught the wrong things, and it's going to be hard for them to get where they need to be. So right here is going to be a prime example. Proverbs 22:6, it says,
train up a child in the way he should go, and keep him with his individual gift or bent, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And I'm going to read it in this context. She read it from the part where it's a study guide of the Bible. It's called a AMP Amplifier version. But I'm going to read it from the King James Version, and it simply says this, Proverbs 22:6. It said, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. If you train, when you plant a vine, right, and some bushes gardeners will attach them to the framework like a pole, and to keep them from spreading out of control. Kids need a soil. It's like a garden, like you plant things, like you plant vines. They need soil structure to keep their physical, emotional, their social, and spiritual growth on track too. This means we are present in their lives, supporting their growth and development, and leading by a godly example. So that means you need to be in church to lead by a godly example, because kids starting from, especially toddlers, what they hear, what they see is what they want to do and what they want to say right back, and then they're going to repeat repetitious words right back what they hear. So if they hear the wrong things, they're going to repeat the wrong things. If they see the wrong things, they're going to do the wrong things. You've got to be parents in this time of day, and the only way you want to be the parent that you need to be for your kid and for your kid to grow up in the right way is that you have to become a sold out Christian. I mean, on fire for God, because God is calling a people like you and I to step up and step in as men and women. Right now, children, especially at a toddler age, need discipline, and they will give you peace. Discipline your child, and they will give you peace, and they will bring you a delight. It will bring delight to you. It's going to be a desire. It's going to be delight, and that's in Proverbs 17. Go and read that later, and I'll read it again for you. Discipline your child, and they will give you peace. They will bring you the delights you desire. I'm telling you. You want to love a kid when they are acting the right way, especially in school, not acting out. But if they raise the wrong way, or they see the wrong things around the wrong people, saying the wrong things around them, they will eventually repeat those things, and they're going to live by them, because that's going to be all they know. There's no question disciplining kids is hard. No question at all. I agree. It takes the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I know some parents get out of control. You need self-control, and you ain't going to get that until you get God. Self-control, spoken of in Galatians 5:22 and 23. Go back and read that. Parents who really love their kids will discipline them as God does with us. Hebrews 12:7. Okay? Hebrews 12:7. Not harshly, but gently, with the goal of leading them in a way of the Lord. Doing it this way, they will become adults that fulfills all creatures' intents for them to become. You gotta train up your children in the way they should go. When they are old, they will not depart. Period. That's just simple. Train them up in the right way. Only in the Lord, though. Because if you train them up in the Lord, then you won't have to worry about them doing all types of things that they shouldn't be doing, being on the street, doing this, doing that, because the streets will guide your children wrong, and that's just not right. Children, I don't care how old they are, especially in this time of day, our kids need protection. In Numbers in the book of Numbers 32, chapter 32:17. Meanwhile, our women and children will live in a fortified city for protection from the inhabitants of the land. There's a lot of cruelness in this world. You have to be protected. If you mess up, you go to God. Look, I messed up. I need this. I need that. But you can't get it on your own. You can't expect everything to go your way when you're not living for God and you're not bringing your children up. We live in a world corrupt. We live in a world corrupted by evil. Children labor, physical abuse, children exploitation, and child marriage. That's going on all over the world. People are giving their child under the age of 18, in my opinion, should be 21, and you can get married at 25. You know what I'm saying? But to me, my child will always be my little girl. You get what I'm saying? Kids should automatically be married when they're over the age of 18. I'm pretty sure some of you fathers will agree with me with that. But child marriage are only some of the challenges kids today may encounter. Not to mention things like drugs, alcohol addiction, bullying, or gang involvement. You have to be careful and protect your children from these things, because it's not going to be easy doing it by yourself. You need God to do these things. In most cases, kids are living with just one parent, but that's okay. That's what God is there for, to step in when the other one is absent. God will deliver us from trouble and the enemy, and He should protect kids. In other words, He will protect kids from people who seek their harm, as an extension of our love for Him. Some of us are even called further by God to act as adversaries to become professionals in our child protection programs or organizations, but rather a professional or not, we can all be aware to help protect kids in our lives. So it's not just our kids. We think that we have to protect kids in our lives. Kids are pretty much, they can't protect themselves, especially toddlers. People that kids, and as they grow up, most kids growing up without Jesus, most parents are not in church. So the parents' job is to go to church, get your kids in church, keep them in church, do your best. Your best is what you do, and that's what God look at. You got to have a content heart in your best, in doing your best. Recognize that children are a blessing from God. Take a look here. And He took the children. This is what Jesus did. And He took the children in His arms, placed His hands on them, and blessed them. Mark 10:16. That's Mark 10:16. And blessing the child, and blessing the children while here on earth, as God intended to. Jesus showed His heart towards little ones. Jesus showed His heart towards little ones in verse 13 of Mark. Same chapter, verse 13. Chapter 10. So if you withhold or withdraw the children from coming to Jesus, then where do they have to go? They don't have no place to go. There's only one place for them to go. So be careful when you do that. And Luke 12:53 all says that the father will be that fathers will be against their sons, mother against their daughters, and let's go over to Matthew and read 10:21 right quick. Matthew 10:21 says, and the brothers shall deliver up their brother. That means even church people is going to be delivering up each other, because they're going to be so scared of what's to come, and that is the Antichrist. It's many going to be turning away from Christ, and they're going to be delivering up each other and to the dead, and the father And the father and the children shall raise up against their parents, and it's going to be that. But you got to be strong, parents. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of it. That's why you got to train up your child right now. Train them up right now as quick as you can, because Jesus is coming. He said, "I come quickly." So you got to train them up and get them ready for God, even if it's a half a year that he may come back. No one knows, but you got to get him or her into something and into learning something about God. It says right here, children are going to be raising up against their parents and causing them to be put to death. Period. It's either you're going to stand up for this faith or you're not. Again, it says, and it repeats itself, different book. And Luke says right here, and this is Jesus speaking, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, and the mother-in-laws against her daughter-in-laws, and the daughter-in-laws against her mother-in-laws. So in-laws is going to be involved in this too. Christ don't leave nobody out. There's a lot that's going to be turned away. There's a lot that's going to be happening. A lot of sin is going on in the world. But when Christ took this beating and this beating, and they whipped him like this, and they whipped him like that, who else can do that? Nobody can take these beatings like Christ did. Go to the cross and die. And now he said he's going to come back to receive those who accepted him in their heart. It's those who've been baptized in the name of Jesus, those who carry his name. He's going to come back for those people, because it's like, if you don't get them now, if you don't start respecting your parents, if you don't start respecting your children and getting them into the Lord, you're going to be lost out here. You're going to be left behind. It's time to wake up now. The end is near. Jesus is coming back. He will not wait on you. This is my child. I'm going to continue to raise her up, and that is that. And nothing's going to stop me. No devil in hell is going to stop me from raising up my kid in the way that she should go. So if she shall get older and she depart from the faith, guess what? She's going to come right back, because she knows the truth already. I instilled in her really early. And that's how you're supposed to do it. Sin is sin. And you cannot escape that. Sin is sin. And sin will not go unpunished. There is a hell, there is a heaven, and if you believe in one, you must believe in the other, because the devil is real as well as God. And the devil ain't playing either. He turning the heat up on people, and they don't even know they being used by him. So it's time to wake up right now. Jesus is coming. The end is near. God bless y'all. Be safe. As always, stay prayed up. And keep Jesus first.